Hello, people. It's your boy Usmaan back again. Manchester United 4, Istanbul 1. Yes, you see the title. Bruno Brilliance seals the deal in Old Trafford. Absolutely beautiful team selection from Oli Gunners. This is all we've asked for. An attacking team lineup against a shit team. And Oli delivered that. Listen, at the end of the day, first and foremost, you've got to give credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He picked the right team. Man went for all the attacking players. That we said in the preview. I thought Mata's going to play, but Mata didn't play. Oli finally learned. He put Rashford on the right. He put Martial on the left. And he put Edison, Gunman, Cavani down the middle. But listen, Bruno and Van der Beek. Listen, Van der Beek, by the way, yeah, obviously we'll talk about Fred in a bit. Van der Beek showed why man should be starting. Man was popping the ball, neat, tidy, keeping the ball ticking, one-touch football. Listen, this guy is a baller. He's got Ajax education, yeah? Ajax education. Man knows how to play football. Listen, Bruno Fernandes alongside Van der Beek was beautiful. They were popping the ball, the interchanging play. It was just beautiful to watch the first half. Listen, what happened in the first half, man? We were just passing it around them with ease. Yes, they're a poor team. Yes, they gave us a lot of space. But nevertheless, we don't play with this amount of intensity as we saw from the second half. But we'll talk about the second half later. But Bruno Fernandes makes it 1-0 to Manchester United with an absolutely sensational penalty, hitting it into the roof of the net. No mercy. You love to see it. You love to see it. But look, here's what it is. A bit fortunate the way it landed to him. But make no mistake about it. It flipping got dispatched into the roof of the net. And that's what we want to see from Bruno Fernandes. Bruno was absolutely sensational today. Listen, the guy was running the show. I expect him to do that against his dead teams. But he was on job nonetheless. Cavani. Edison Cavani, right, was brilliant. The whole game, I know he played 90 minutes, but the guy was unselfish with his movement. I can't get over this guy's elite movement. The amount of opportunities he created from his movement, dragging defenders left, right, and center. They didn't have a clue what was going on. These mans are checking the shoulder every 2 seconds. 1 minute he's there, 1 minute he's gone. Listen, Cavani was brilliant. He led the line like a proper flipping number 9. And talking of number 9, Anthony Martial on the left wing. Look, Anthony Martial, you guys know I love this guy. I love Martial, but he did look at home on the left wing. Man was picking up the ball in the first 5 to 10 minutes. Flipping, Raphael didn't know where he was. Man was like, am I still in a dream? Flipping, man was spinning, doing 360s and all that. He didn't know where he was. Martial was rinsing him. And listen, that's the Martial I know and love. That is the Martial that we all know and love. The guy picks up the ball and runs at you. You know you're in trouble. And Martial's on tongue. You know you're in trouble. And Martial was brilliant. Again, every single player in the first half was absolutely fantastic. No put a foot wrong, really, in the first half. I can't complain about anything. Everyone was on job. There's no complaints about the first half. Every single one of those players, you know, they did the job in the first half. Let's get a couple of comments in. Good win. We get there. 3 points. Good team selection. Bruno. Banging strike. What a penalty. Yes, Usmaan. Yes, United way. Loving the energy by Ali. My brother. I can't even get on my fat fingers. James. Bruno the man. James knows what going. Bruno, Van der Beek and Cavani were awesome. Yes, they were. Also, Marcus Rashford on the right wing, making the right decisions at the right moment. Listen, it was a fantastic performance. Fred covering every blade of grass like he does. Yes, Istanbul grew into the game. Yes, they had a lot of opportunities, but I don't care. The reason I don't care, people will say, we gave them so many chances. The better team will punish us. Of course, the better team will punish us, but we won't play this flipping midfield against a better team because it's quite evident there's not enough protection for the 2 dead centre-backs, one of which got a fantastic assist when he played the ball over to Rashford. Before we go into that, let's talk about the second goal. Alex Telles Talk to me about Tellers, boys and girls. Talk to me about this man gets the ball. This brother here gets the ball right. And he's like, I'm just going to whip it across with a whippage. That just constant whippage, right? Just, oh, God. Mr. Whippy settings, as expression would say. Mr. Whippy settings. Listen, it was beautiful to watch. Gets the ball, gets out feet, whips in every single given moment. The keeper fluffs his line. Cavani with another sensation run near post. Listen, I'm not going to say Cavani distracted the keeper because he probably didn't have much of an impact. But nonetheless, the keeper drops the ball. And Bruno Fernandes, the penalty specialist, is there to tap the ball in from 6 yards into an open net to make it 2-0. And at this point, it's 20 minutes on the clock. 2-0 to Manchester United, and you're fearing the worst. For Istanbul, it's going to be the theatre of nightmares for you mother lovers. But it is what it is. 30 minutes on the clock. Lindelof decides to put a ball over the top. Istanbul trying to press us at Old Trafford. We play around the press. The first half, we were popping the ball around. The interchange of play was beautiful. Everyone was taking one touch, and it came from that exactly. The ball gets played out from a goal kick, goes to Maguire. Obviously, it always does. The ball gets to Lindelof. They're trying to play They're trying to play a press. Lindelof thinks, allow that. I see Marcus Rashford on the halfway line. He plays a beautiful ball over the top to Marcus Rashford, who runs onto it. He's flipping lightning quick. The defender, I don't know what he's doing, fouls him. It is what it is. It takes him down. Marcus Rashford gets himself up, takes the penalty. What can I say about Bruno Fernandes? Listen, Bruno Fernandes' unselfishness, a thing of beauty. Give him the flipping captain's armband right now. Give him this guy, man. I've just seen his comments briefly before coming on this, but just want to say, regarding Bruno, my beautiful Bruno, the guy was like, listen, after West Brom's performance, I'm going to give this guy the penalty. He deserves it. Not only that, he's currently the leading goal scorer in the Champions League, and we wanted to continue with that. He's doing really well. Gives him the penalty. Marcus Rashford just steps up. Little cheeky shimmy, bottom right corner. A sayonara keeper. 3-0 Manchester United. And at this point, I'm asking for 4. I'm asking for 5. You know how it is as a football fan. You get selfish. But it wasn't to be. We go into the end of the first half. Just before the first half finishes, we've got an attack. It's Marcus Rashford, it's Cavani, it's Bruno Fernandes, it's Martial against 2 defenders. And Rashford has an absolute nightmare. Hits it straight onto the defender. Listen, it is what it is. Rashford's poor decision-making prevails again. But nonetheless, we're going to halftime 3-0. Probably one of the better halves of football we've seen in a long while. And you've got to see it, man. You've got to love... Listen, you love to see it. Beautiful first half of Manchester United. No complaints. Cannot complain about anything. The team selection from Ollie, fantastic. The manner in which we approach the game from the first minute, exactly what I'm expecting against lower teams. Get in the face, press high up, and flippy show some urgency that you want to score. Second half. Where do I start in this? Lads, on the watching, I'm falling asleep. I'm genuinely yawning, and I forgot I was bloody here. Where's my drink? My drink's here. It's almost flipping done, but second half was an absolute shit show. Second half basically epitomized what Manchester United normally are. That game, right, was beautiful in so many ways because it showed how sporadic we are as a football club. First half, sensational, not a foot wrong, moving the ball with impetus, 1 touch, 2 touch, just beautiful, fluid attack, all 3 of them interchanging. Martial running at his man, Rashford running at his man. It looked like we're going to score every time we went forward. But second half was a complete opposite. Listen, what will we do in the second? We started it so poorly. Twansebe gets subbed on for Lindelof, as it looks like Lindelof has gone off injured, which is a bit of a disappointment. Hopefully it's nothing too serious because I thought he was very good. But nonetheless, we get on with it. We get on with the second half, or do we? Because we didn't turn up second half. I have not got a clue what happened in second half. Lads, let me know in the comment section, what do you think happened in second half? Because for me personally, I was wanting 5 or 6. I've got to be honest, lads. I'm greedy. I wanted Cavani goal and I wanted a Martial goal. But nonetheless, we got the W. But it was poor in the second half. I've got to be honest, boys. We just fell asleep. Like, me as a fan, I fell asleep watching the game. The players just switched off. It looked like we was like cruising, 3-0 up, 3-0 to the good and all that. It doesn't really matter. And to be honest, Istanbul started better. Granted, they didn't offer much going forward because they're not really a good team. I was about to say nonetheless. I've said about 100 times. Nevertheless, we still got to do better. We've still got to show hunger, desire to get that fourth, that fifth. That's that killer instinct. We was not there. It is what it is. We played a lot of games. Our players were kind of switching off. Ollie made a couple of changes. Greenwood came on. Daniel James came on. Who else was there who came on? Obviously, I've already mentioned Transabia. Williams came on. Wan-Bissaka went off. Bruno went off. Rash went off. Of course, they played a lot of minutes. So I wasn't opposed to that. There was no issue with that happening. If anything, I was happy with that happening because we do not want any injuries to any of our players, especially players that are of importance, such as Rashford, Bruno, and of course, Wan-Bissaka. The guys that came on, to be honest, really didn't have much of an impact. Van der Beek still doing his thing, passing the ball around nicely, trying his thing. Fred, I think in the second half, we started to see that this double pivot with Fred and Van der Beek is not going to work. Just conceded too many chances, really. To be quite lesser teams, Southampton not really being one of them, but teams that we should really dominate the ball. I want this exact same team to play. I want Ollie to have a pair and go for it. Because at the end of the day, we're Man United. We need to be going for it. We need to set the precedent. We need to scare the other team. And after watching this, other teams will be like, oh shit, Man United can actually play good football. We need to do that more consistently. Second half was basically what we've been doing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Very laboured, very defensive, very uninspiring, boring. How good is Donny? Sensational, mate. Absolutely sensational. As Watson saying, the changes killed us. But good to rest the key players. Absolutely. But listen, it is what it is. We got the 3 points. They did score eventually. A very good free kick. I've forgotten the lad's name. Beautiful free kick. Left foot over the wall. De Gea, in my personal opinion, could have potentially done better. I think it caught him off guard, to be quite frankly honest with you. I really wanted De Gea to get a clean sheet. My prediction was 4-0. Bit disappointed that we conceded 3-1. And at that point, I'm like, what are we doing? We need to wake up. And obviously, the reaction after their goal was very worrying. I've got to be honest. If anything, and I use the analogy on the watch along, it was like a boxer on the ropes, basically. We were a boxer on the ropes for 5, maybe 10 minutes. They had us on the ropes. They had us penned back. And for whatever reason, we didn't come out swinging. If anything, we came out hugging and hoping we can clinch and stay in the game, which was so weird. I say stay in the game in the sense that stay with a 2-goal cushion. But Istanbul grew in the ascendancy. They grew in confidence. And them, man, were on job. They were looking for another comeback. The commentator was saying they had a similar situation against Besiktas within the league when they tried to come back from a similar deficit. They just fell short. But thankfully today, they did not get the second goal, although they rattled the crossbar. The captain, by the way, for them was absolutely brilliant. What a play he was, or what performance he's had, and what a play he looks like he is. I'm waffling with that. What a play he looks like. Listen, he's flipping from Istanbul. We made him look a lot better than he is. He battled the crossbar. Fair play to him. Could have been 3-2. There's a few of the scares. Early in the first half, I'm not really mentioned. We were a bit shaky in moments. Second half again, Demba Ba had a couple of half chances. A better striker probably takes or lays it off to a teammate. But it wasn't meant to be for them. At the end of the day, we got through. We got over the line. And at the end of the day, we made it 4. Van der Beek doing what he does best, neat and tidy. The ball gets played out from Matic. I don't know if it's for Cavani or if it's for Van der Beek, but nonetheless, Cavani drops it off, pops it off to Van der Beek. Van der Beek, first touch football, plays it into Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood puts it on a play for Dan James, who starts it home to make it 4-1. Fantastic finish to the game. A huge confidence booster for him. He scored on an international duty as well. I've got to say, by the way, Mason Greenwood was massively disappointed when he came on a few occasions. He did all the hard work. He should have laid the ball onto a person in a better position. He tried to go alone, which I'm not opposed to him doing, but sometimes you got to pick and choose when you shoot. Sometimes you got to pick and choose when you pass. But it is what it is. Greenwood, he made the right decision in the end, got the assist, and James got his goal, which made it 4-1. And you love to see it. Dan James has now scored more goals, one in the Champions League than Arsenal have done in the last 4 years. Listen, you're a dead club, Arsenal. Dead club. Don't come to us. But Man United, top of the table. I never thought I would be saying that with 2 games left to play. PSG did win, which means they are currently on 6 points alongside Istanbul. I don't know if we've got Istanbul or PSG next. I think a draw might do it. Depending on who we've got, a draw will be good enough to get us through. And at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for. It is what it is. But let's just get a couple of the boys on. I believe Kojo and Acting Joe are in the wings, ready to join me. What we saying, boys?
Oh, good, my brother. Oh, good. Look good. How you doing? How you doing? Been watching nicely.
I'm good. Obviously, man's done the whole video, but I'm going to pass it to you while I put my headphones in. Joe, Joe, we come to you first, Kojo. Brother, 4-1 in the end. It is what it is. What are you saying?
Yep, it is what it is, man.
Shit. Oh. Never mind. Kojo, I'll pass it to you first while I find my headphones, wherever they've gone.
Cool, bro. Yeah, no, good performance in the first half. Got our first 3 goals. Quite easily, to be honest. Bruno having a bit of a masterclass in the team, as was Van der Beek. Van der Beek was brilliant. Defensive protection wasn't there, but that's what happens when you play. I mean, what's his name? Fred is not a defensive midfielder. Never has been. Never was. He was more of a box to box. His previous club, Shakhtar. So he's come here. He's not going to be the one that sits in front of the defense and protects. So that's the risky run, but we need to play better football.
Yeah,
and we did. We need a lot more attacking intent, and we had that. So we needed to win this game assertively, and we did that. The second half performance, not great, but regardless, it's 4 goals. It's a win. We're still top of the table. That's all that counts right now. So hopefully we can see more of that going forward. And shout out to Bruno, because I have criticized Bruno for dropping some stinkers, but today the guy did not stink at all. And if he stank of roses. He smelled beautiful. Okay, he smelled beautiful today. So yeah, shout him out as well.
Yeah, no, Bruno was absolutely quality. Joe, what did you make of the game, man? Obviously a fantastic performance in the end.
Yeah,
4-1 winners. The lineup surprised a lot of fans. I genuinely thought Matama getting to the start. I'm not gonna lie, but were you happy that Ollie went attacking?
Yeah. Well, look, we're going from Kojo to regular Joe here, and my thought. Yeah, I first of all, I thought our lineup was stronger than I thought it was going to be. I thought I thought Dan James would have started. I thought it would have been Martial or Rashford, but Ollie really wanted the 3 points today. Really just wanted to seal it up, and with no doubt whatsoever. And I thought for maybe probably for the first half, we were electric. We were exceptional. We were the best, the peak of what we've been, we'll say, post-Ferguson. Just like little dirty little balls we were doing, like showing no respect to the opposition, like mugging them off whenever we could, like basically wanking in their faces. It was beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch, all right? And then when we were 3-0 up, then we come out for second half. Obviously, Lindelof comes off, Axel comes on, which is great. But it just seems like we dropped the level, which I thought was pretty standard. You're 3-0 up, the game's comfortable, and we have a lot of games coming up. Yeah. But that's when I started to get a bit worried, because when Bruno came off, we lost our kind of fluidity. We lost our linchpin going forward. So we didn't really need him anyway at that point. But it got me a bit concerned, because at 3-1 with 10 minutes left, I did think they were going to come back into it.
When he hit the ball,
hit the crossbar. Oh my God. I was like, I can't fucking face anyone if they come back. Like if they fucking come back.
Honestly, that was one of the few things that was going through my head. I was thinking, no, I can't deal with this humiliation. This is a new level of humiliation if we lose.
Do you know
being a lead to these lot?
Do you know the way like the MLS is supposed to be the retirement home for Premier League players? Like, I think it is that fucking with whoever played tonight, because they had, who do they have? Skirtle, Demba Ba, Raphael, and Shadley. Yeah.
Shadley, yeah.
Why? Well, never mind. Well, obviously money. It's just weird the amount of random names that are showing up there. But we showed that in the second half, I did get worried, and it makes me think about the who was the Belgian team that we played? It was the first game we had at post-lockdown in the Europa League. Lask. Do you remember when our second team played? Yeah, and they were just... And I was looking forward to that game. I was like, we're 5-0 up or 5-1 up. I was like, these lads can go out and express themselves.
That's what,
and it just made me worry about the people coming off the bench. And that's what it made me feel like the second half. That like these lads are coming on because you can make as many subs as you want in the Champions League now, basically. When they came on, I was like, the levels dropped. There seemed to be no real expression going forward, and I wasn't excited to see most of what was happening in the second half. It was great to see Dan James score and stuff like that, but I am not as happy as I would be coming out of a 4-1 win as I thought I would be.
Yeah, no, it's a very valid point. I think what you've compared it to there actually is very befitting. I think that's probably the best analogy I can think of. It was very reminiscent of that, especially in the second half, in the manner in which we approached it. It was very disappointing. I think the commentator that I had on, I think it might be Glenn Hoddle actually. He was saying that Man United got a corner very early in the second half, and just the manner in which the players are approaching that, the lack of intensity to get the game restarted, showed to him that the body language was very negative in the second half in terms of the intensity or the sort of thought process got into it. Coach, were you worried at all at any point in the second half? James, he is saying, and James always watches the watch alongs, he's fully out. They should have scored 3. There were moments. Obviously, there's a lot of positive which we will touch upon, but there were a few sort of potential scares, even when we were 3-0 up early in the first half. We were giving them a lot of chances, especially their captain. How many chances did we want to give that guy? Like, he had about a good 4 or 5 chances himself.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they would have done enough to get back into the game. Obviously, they scored and then hit the bar, but I feel like at that moment there, if it goes down to 3-2, as stupid as it is, that's when United would have stepped up the gear again. And that shouldn't ever be the situation. You should always be ready to just slap them down. So it was 3-0. It just start sniffing something, make it 4. Make them know their place, So I don't think they would have done enough to get back into the game at some point. But that's reminiscent of everything that we've been saying on this show for a while now, is that, we speak about this team and we look at the players we have. There's quality in the team. And when they're on it and when the selection is perfect, they will run through anyone. But then it's that little thing about drive and keeping the momentum up. Are you going to assert your dominance? And more importantly, are you going to keep clean sheets? Clean sheets give the confidence to the goalkeeper also. So,
I was very disappointed. I think De Gea is the one who could have saved it at the end of the day. But because it's a free kick, isn't it? But I was disappointed that we didn't keep a clean sheet. I think that's another thing that just builds confidence for the back four. Granted, there were moments that were shaky. I thought Maguire was a bit better than Lindelof in general, but they just seemed to struggle against Demba Ba. Like, Twan Sager cannot play against Demba Ba at all. He had an absolute against him. He's played 2 halves, right? He got subbed off at halftime, if I'm not mistaken, the first game.
Yeah.
And then he was absolutely woeful in the first game. He comes on for the second half of this game, so he's played a full 90 minutes against Demba Ba, and he's been absolutely rinsed in both games. I don't know what it is that he just can't deal with him, Joe. Like, is it like a bit worrying that we just struggle against such a bait? He just, even his link up, like Demba Ba were killing us. Like, flick one over someone's head. Like, it was just like, do you know what I mean? Like, it just seemed like Van der Beek and Fred didn't offer as much protection as one against a better team. We might have struggled, really, in a sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Bobs, by the way, I got your messages and the photos were very lovely. So thanks very much.
I haven't got a clue on that.
But he knows.
What is going on here?
No, it's all right. Bobs knows what I'm talking about. And they're very much appreciated. They're not for me, but I'm glad you sent them. Cheers, Bobs.
I don't know what's going on. I don't want to know. I really don't know.
But yeah, no,
Kojo looks jealous by the Bob. I'm just saying.
Wait, hold on.
No. Kojo, you have no reason to be jealous. No, none whatsoever. Okay.
No, that just got me, man.
You're my guy. You're my guy. Okay.
That just got me, man. Don't worry.
But I can't even remember what the question was now. What did you say?
Yeah, so basically, is it the midfield, right? So obviously we're fantastic going forward, but defensive, does it worry you at all against a better opposition? It might not work.
It does when it's up against us, because the only thing is he plays his best when we're not expected to win, or when he looks like he is on the way out. So the players are pumped for that, and I guess they play for him. But when it's a bit easier, when the pressure's off, it's when they lack concentration and it goes down. Look at when Axel and Maguire bumped into each other and almost if that goal went, because he could have easily scored from that. If that went in, we would have never forgotten about that. Yeah. So it's when the pressure is off, for whatever reason, the concentration drops rapidly, and that's when we make our mistakes. And I don't know what we can do to fix that. I don't know if it's a managerial thing or if it's just a squad thing of being like, just because you're 3-0 up, the game isn't over.
Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite memories, the sticks with me about I know that Waz isn't the biggest fan as Harry Maguire, as many people here, as the captain. But I remember one of my favorite moments
in the chat as well. Actually, he literally put it just before you said it. Maguire's no bloody captain.
Damn.
That's so he doesn't like Maguire as captain at all. Honestly, he really doesn't.
But I remember when we were playing, I can't pronounce the name of the team, but they were actually playing Juventus tonight in the qualifiers for the Champions League in like 2003, 2004, something like that. And we lost the first leg 1-0, right? And this is when Diego Forlan played for us. Right. And the second leg, we were up like 3 or 4-0 or something like that. And Forlan hadn't scored. He was like the most beloved striker in our club's history who could never score.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, he's going to take the penalty. He's going to take the penalty because it was the 4 penalty. And he was going to take it. And Roy Keane like grabbed him, just walked him away and put Ruud van Nistelrooy in and was like, this isn't a fucking like friendly. All right, this is we're trying to qualify for the Champions League. Our penalty taker is going to take the penalty. Do you know what I mean? That's when standards didn't drop. It didn't matter what it was for. The standards didn't drop. It was always put your best foot forward. And I kind of feel that's what's missing. That thing of like keeping the standard up no matter what it is and just keep playing your best football as you possibly can. I think that is, and the concentration is dropping a bit. And that's what is my biggest concern with this squad.
Yeah, there's too much sentiment in it in this day and age of football. Like what Bruno did with Rashford, I respect that. Innit? Don't get me wrong. I don't think Roy Keane would have been a fan of that, but I'm happy that Bruno did that because his comments after the game, it shows his leadership. He doesn't really give a shit by his individual accolades. He just cares about the team in it. So I respect that. Yeah. We've got a comment here about Lookman. I think is hit the nail on the head. I've been thinking this for a while. Why Man United do not press opponents? OGS, obviously Ali, should make it regular. I don't know what I said. OGS. It should make it a regular style from start to finish. Sincerely, we have a great team, but coaching is a problem. Listen, every time we press teams, right, we saw in the first half, these mans were on job. They were pressing them. And I can't remember. It must have been the first 2 minutes. One of the defenders just pinged it straight out because Bruno pressed him. And there was Rashford pressing on the right wing for his out ball. And they were like, shit, I don't know what to do here. So he just kicked you out. Like, look, at the end of the day, right, against these shit teams, you put them under any pressure, with all due respect to them, they haven't got the capabilities of, or the luxury of passing out them, because they haven't got the quality. It's not an easy thing to do to, counter press, so to speak. It's not an easy skill. You have to be a technically gifted player, and it's obviously not everyone is, especially defenders. But, Coach, like, what are your thoughts, man? Like, every time we press, we play brilliantly.
Every team that we've decided to press so far this season, especially in the Champions League, namely Leipzig, we have absolutely hammered them. Because if any team worth their salt, you're talking about teams, you're playing at the top level of Premier League football and you're playing Champions League football. So if you allow any team to settle and play their stuff, of course they're going to give you hell. So, change the system up a little bit. Instead of playing 2 defensive midfielders, when you got weaker opposition who are going to naturally feel the need to sit back against you, go for them, press them whenever they're trying to get comfortable, and let them know that they cannot settle when you're against you. Simple as that. When you play 2 CDMs or 2 defensive midfielders against a team that you should be beating, you're giving them a reason to say, let me get at them because maybe they're not going to press us the way they can. So, you got someone like Van der Beek who presses well. Tellers was pressing well. Cavani's pressing well. And all of them were pressing well today. I don't want to just single out people. It's all of them. So
Cavani is a proper workhorse, man.
He really is. He fucking really is.
Yo, talking about his age. I don't want to hear anyone mention this guy's age because he's fitter than fucking everyone.
Well, see, the thing is, people ain't mentioning his age, but there's people like Vardy, 33 years old also, and he is pressing like and he's super fit. As long as you're fit,
everything.
I was thinking about it the other day because the similar sort of player that came, it is a bit different, but the similar style of player was Falcao when he came to United.
I knew you were going to say Falcao. I knew.
Yeah.
And I think you said it because it looks similar, mate. I don't think
that could be a bigger part of it than I actually realized. But the two of them came, big reputation and stuff like that. And we're excited to see them at the club. And both of them actually scored their first goal against Everton.
Yeah.
But with, there you go. Fun fact, okay? Remember for a pub quiz one day.
I'll use that for the next quiz.
Yeah, please do. Kojo, you need to catch up with me. I have 2 wins now.
Yeah, you won one when I wasn't there, bro. I'm coming back, don't worry.
Yeah, that's all right. I won one when you were there too, but who's counting?
All right, in that regard, it's 1-1. All right, cool. We got this.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, I'll take it. But you look at the difference between Falcao and Cavani when they came to the club, and you can kind of do the same with Ibrahimovic as well. They might be older, but they want to be there. They actively. It's not a thing of because what I felt. Look, obviously when Falcao came, I was so excited, but you kind of realized afterwards, you're like, he just had a really bad injury. Is he doing this because he just wants a final payday at a big club and maybe see where it goes from there because he's not going to get at Monaco because Monaco didn't really want him? Well, at Cavani, he is a point to prove. He's the all-time top goal scorer at PSG. Yeah, thrown out of the club. Thrown out of the corporation because PSG aren't a fucking club. Thrown out of there. And now he's like, and he has to play them next week.
He needs to score against them.
He needs to start that whole
thing. Do it straight to the director as well. So, chairman, whoever owns the fucking club in stands, that would be beautiful. Listen, I just want to get a couple of comments in because there's quite a lot. Obviously, I've kind of lost it. So, Cam, first and foremost, he's got 2 comments. I'll read this one first. Let's not get carried away. We played Istanbul. No one's getting carried away, Cam. No.
Istanbul tic-tac-toe. This guy has no respect.
Listen, we know we need a top-level coach. No one's getting carried away. We don't do that on this channel. Let's get a couple of more comments here. Another one for you, Kojo. Same lads. What is Kojo talking about? ? We did not press quotations. Leipzig. We sat in a low block and counter-attack. When we press, we are exposed because we could not press properly again. How does that explain?
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
How does that explain Pogba initiating?
Go and watch the game again. Then come back with that such a nonsensical comment.
We literally, I remember, from kickoff.
I'll come for Bobs as well,
But I remember,
obviously, comment for you, Joe. Winner's circle. Joe,
better believe it. But I remember,
Kojo, what are your thoughts on that comment just before we go?
I already said it's nonsensical, to be honest. I don't understand what he's talking about because, quite frankly, we did press. A lot of our goals literally came from a press, winning the ball, playing 1 or 2 balls forward, and then scoring a goal. So that's what I've got to say about that.
Well, Rashford's first goal was a press from Fred that won it, and then Rashford did the rest against Upamecano. So we literally scored that goal off a press from Fred. So I'm not really sure what you're talking about. But it is what it is, the entirety opinion. Obviously, you don't have to agree with us. We don't claim to know what we're talking about. Ollie has no real philosophy. He acts for what the opponent does. He's a good manager, but not a good coach. Also, we got a question here for Bob's, genuine question, not just taking the piss. Let's see if I can find it. I can't seem to find it. But anyways, Joe, we'll throw it to you first. You just talking about Mason Greenwood. I see, I found it. Guys, quick question. Do you think Mason was a bit greedy tonight? I personally have just touched on it before you both joined. I thought he was very greedy. There was 2 or 3 occasions where he should have passed it. There was one that we got cornered when he kicked the ball onto his own leg. The fact that he didn't pass that in to Van der Beek, who's literally there for a square tap in, and he just tried, I don't know what he was doing. But Joe, pass it easy. Look, I don't really care too much because he got the assist in the end. But Joe, what are your thoughts on Greenwood? He looked a bit rusty, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But he's been out for a few days, and the amount of shit he's been through is. I know you talked about it really wonderfully on the racism podcast you had last week with Bob's Usmaan. I really, really enjoyed that show, and you discussed what he's been through as well. And I'm, to be honest, what you're saying that he should have passed and stuff like that. He's 19. And at 19, I'd rather him be a bit too selfish and then learn to come back from that than to be too giving and then have to learn how to just take your chances. So when you're 3-0 up, which you were at that point, I'm happier him to just go for it rather than, hey, I'll give it to someone else and make it 4-0. I'd rather him be like, no, I want to take this fucking goal. I'm happy to see that spark, see that fire. And I think when he came on, he was electric. I think he had that run immediately when he came on. His first touch, ended with him. He ended up kicking his leg or whatever it was, but he wanted the ball. He wanted to have a go, but unfortunately, the team around him just wanted to sit back and just let Istanbul have the ball. If he started the game, I'd say he would have got a goal or two. But the fact that he came on 60 minutes gone, he wanted to do what he could, but he wasn't really given the opportunities. But I'm just glad to see him on and glad to see him hungry and wanting to really, stick the back of the net. But he can do it against Southampton and do it again against PSG next week. So it's fine.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. What were your thoughts, Coach, on Greenwood's little cameo?
I was quite satisfied with him. I don't mind him being greedy because he's been brought up as a striker, and I prefer my strikers to be greedy. I want them to have that hunger to score goals. Yeah. I want him to hunt the goal down and slap it in. So I understand that also he's been in and out of the team this season, and he probably just wants more goals this season. I think he scored against Leipzig. Is there any other goal?
Greenwood, yeah, he does. Yes, he got the first goal against Leipzig.
I think that might be, if I'm right, that might be the only goal he's got this season so far.
Yeah, that's correct,
yeah. So he wants more, and I like that. That's hunger. So more of that, hopefully. But this time banging into the back of the net. But other than that, like I said, he's 19. Decision making will get better. So I'm happy with him.
Yeah, it should be alright. I was a bit disappointed with He kind of just made the wrong decisions here and there. I hear your point. I am, all for him, trying to put it on his left foot or even the right foot, taking a shot because he's got the capabilities of scoring, which is shown last season. I was just disappointed because Van der Beek was there for a tapping and really,
he
just laid it on a plate for him, and he scored, as he did for James eventually. He could have done the same for Van der Beek, and he would have scored as well. But listen, he's 19. He's had a tough time. I'm not going to be too critical of him, so it is what it is. So let's move on to another comment here from James. Also, another regular on the channel, so shout out to you. I'm not sure why my hearing is rattling. Coach, we'll start with you first. Take Bruno out the side, and we're crap, but we should not be. We have so many great players, and it's down to coaching. In the end, it's down to. I think in today's game in particular, I think that's a fair comment. However, I think he got taken off at the 60th minute, if I'm not mistaken. Even that 15 minutes that he was on the pitch in the second half, we were poor, really. We didn't look like we were. We looked disinterested, didn't it? Really, we just wanted to get back to the hotel, so to speak. Coach, what were your thoughts on that comment?
Well, I think I've said on this pod before that he's also dropped some stinkers, so he's not guilty of that. He is completely guilty as well as of it, but we've already spoken many times about what Ole's coaching is about and what we feel of it. At the end of the day, Bruno's qualities helped us a lot. He's played 30-something games for us, got 21 goals, about 15 assists. So he's contributing like a madman. That's the one reason I was screaming his name for him to come to United. So I understand what you're saying, but it's down to coaching. You know how I feel about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Anyone that's listened to me knows how I feel about him. So I'm not gonna harp on about it. Yeah, you know how I feel.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. At the end of the day, look, it just comes down to philosophy. I think good teams, regardless of players, you take one out. If you've got another quality player, which we did in Martial, Van der Beek was still on the pitch then, in those positions, they should still be able to do the job. It was quite interesting to see Martial in that role, behind the striker, because when he got he kept getting clattered and not getting the guys were not getting cards. I don't understand why, but obviously, it is what it is. But regarding Martial, what just before I actually answer this question, as I mentioned, Martial, Joe, do you think that left wing position just better suited him? I've been a huge advocate of him playing up front, so I'm not going to sit here and say after one game, you know what, he looked better. He did look better. They don't know. He looked at home. He looked more comfortable. I've already done my little thing at the start of the video practice coming on. He absolutely spun Raphael in that face. 5 minutes. Man did not know what part of the pitch he was looking at. But Joe, do you think it's the case that we do just keep Martial on the left wing and persist with Cavani up top until obviously anything changes, so to speak?
Well, I think if you're doing that, you're kind of signing Martial's debt warrant, if I'm being honest, because we can get better left wing. Like Rashford is better out left than him, and also Cavani's 33. And if you're putting all your faith in Cavani being your number 9, that means you don't have faith in Martial. Yeah. So I feel like if you're going to do that now, and he doesn't bring in with. I don't know what's happening there, but if you're putting him out there and he doesn't impress incredibly and do better than he did last season, then you're kind of looking at it going, how much longer has he got at the club? I think you have to persist with him at number 9. If it doesn't work out, then kind of move on from there. I wasn't entirely impressed by him tonight. I thought he was good on that wing, especially in the first half when everyone is electric. I thought he was fantastic. Then the second half, he kind of died off a little bit. So at this moment in time, I am more worried for Martial's Man United career than I am optimistic.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If I'm being honest, if we're talking about Cavani being our starting number 9, that doesn't bode well for Martial, because Martial should be our number 9, and we should be talking about how do we fit Cavani in, and it should be at the stage we are now. We should be Cavani should be a 20-minute sort of player, and also starting in the League Cup and starting in the Champions League every other game or whatever it is, as more of a whatever the word is, a relief player. But the fact that we're looking at him going, we need to start Cavani, kind of says it all, doesn't it?
To be honest, right, I think you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at the way you obviously said, and I understand
the right way.
And I think a lot of people will agree with what he's saying. I think for me personally, if anything, it's a testament to Cavani, because he's shown what he's about. Because a lot of people were saying 33, why are you signing him? He's injury prone, etc. And don't get me wrong, he might get injured against Southampton, God forbid, of course. But I just think it's a testament to him. He's shown why he's always been elite, because his movement. And just he's aware. The man did about 3-4 dummies that played people through on like a stupid amount of space, because he's just so intelligent. And Martial needs to improve that aspect of his game. Look, don't get me wrong, Martial of course needs to improve a lot, but I don't want to forget what he's done up front. Post lockdown, Martial with Rashford was absolutely sensational up front.
Yeah,
I'm not just, for me personally. Yeah, I'm not gonna, because he's playing poorly at the moment, and I'm not disputing that. It's been one of our worst performances this season so far. Obviously, sort of gotten the red card as well doesn't help him. But I'm just gonna give a bit of time, because I do think he's not playing his best football at the moment, and he does need to find a bit of form.
No, but also I would say, like, what if Martial's been at the club since 2015? Is it? And we've had 2 brief windows of him being really good, and then everything else was him being somewhat mediocre. So what way do we look at it? Do we expect him to be peak, or do we expect him to always kind of be wishy-washy? I realize he's 25.
I feel like you can say that about literally every player in that squad. Like, generally, I don't think there's been, apart from Bruno, really. Yeah. There hasn't been anyone that's been... Bruno's kind of been poor this season, and he's starting to come into his own now. But in general, there's not a single player that you could really say, no, what, this player's been good at Man United.
But how many... Yeah, but if you go over those 5 years, how many of those players are still at the club?
Too many, to be honest.
Well, look, but you know what I mean? The players that we got rid of, we're talking about starting players. That were still there, we should have got rid of. So you're looking at... I personally think Martial's just going through a rough patch. I hope so.
The same way Jesse Lingard was, compared to Messi at one point.
That's facts. That's just straight facts.
That's my personal opinion. I'm still a fan of him. I love the fact they can bring people into play. He's very unselfish, but you've got to remember Cavani has been a striker his whole career, of course, and he's been an elite striker as well. It's not like an Agallo.
Yeah.
When Agallo came in, no one was saying anything negative about Messi. I'm thinking about Lingard, but no one was saying nothing negative, because Agallo's level is not as elite as Cavani. Cavani's kind of shedding light on Martial's frailties at the moment, and he's still got to learn that part of his game. Yes, he's of age, I do agree. However, a lot of his sort of tenure now has been on the wing, so he does need to develop himself. And this is the whole point of being a striker. You're judged on your goals. At the end of the day, you're judged on your goals. A lot of people don't look at performances. We're in an age where everything starts. Everything starts. The first thing you go on social media, everyone's going to be talking about stats. So-and-so, Bruno Fernandes has done X, Y, and Z. Today he played brilliantly, don't get me wrong. But in general, if he's had a bad game, he normally gets a goal and assist, or he contributes in some manner. But people never... They won't say, in 10 games, Bruno's average rating has been a 6. They say in 10 games, Bruno's got 8 goals and 57 assists. Even though his average rating is a 6, like, he's actually been poor, but he's just scored and got assists. Yeah. So Martial's going to be judged on that, and he has to be able to deal with the pressure if he wants to be successful at Man United. And look, at the end of the day, that's the same for everybody. If you want to be the best and you want to be elite, he needs to come through this period and show why he should be, playing for that number 9 shirt. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want man to prove to us, and we want Cavani to come in and say, well, if you're not on job, I'm going to take your place. Because that's what Man United should be about. No place and no position should be a given. You've seen it with Tellez now, and Luke Shaw. A lot of fans are saying Luke Shaw's career days are numbered. Luke Shaw will probably come back. I'm not saying he's going to get his place back, but it's going to promote healthy competition within the squad.
Yeah.
So for me personally, look, end of the day, Martial, he might taper off. We'll have to wait and see. Kodjo, what are your thoughts on Martial before we move on?
I kind of got to the point where, as much as I like him, he is 25 years old now. And I don't want us to keep asking questions about whether he's the guy for us or not. It's either you are or you're not. And if you're not, step aside.
Yeah.
Because at some point, United will be a club that will actually look somewhere else for a striker. It kind of worried me when, even though we sold Lukaku, and yes, he did become the number 9, Solskjaer was still screaming out for a striker. Now we've got Cavani, and we're all, well, not all of us, but a lot of us are saying start Cavani ahead of him because he's not in form. Cavani's provided with much of a better threat. His overall play is better. And yes, he has the experience, but you're 25 years old. When can we say that about you? You know, you're 2 years away from your peak. Yeah, we're 2 years away from your peak. I don't want to be asking questions. I want to say Martial is my striker, and he's my striker going forward. So for me, it's not a make or break season, but it's another season where I need you to step up a bit more, try and up your goal tally. But it's not been a great start. And if Cavani outshines you, he's in big trouble because Cavani's not here for the future. You're supposed to be here for the future. We can get another 10 years out of you, Cavani 2 or 3 at the most.
Yeah,
so,
I would say for me, Coach, this is a make or break season for Martial for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
But I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying.
No, I'm not gonna defend anyone anymore. I'm sick and tired of it. Look, prove to me why you should be at the club. Because I want us to be successful, man. It's as simple as that. This whole sentimentality. I love Martial. I've got to be honest. I'm probably saying it as sentiment, but it was sort of, be a goggle, so to speak, in terms of football. I don't know. For me personally, I can't stay my back on him. I've always loved the guy. So I've got a comment here from Ads or GNA TV. Shout out to you guys. Fred and Doddy in the middle works, but the haters screwed them. Get out. Okay, fair enough. Very harsh. Listen, I love Van der Beek. We've not spoken about Van der Beek at all. Obviously, we've got to mention him in it. Joe, coming to you first and foremost, man. This guy, he's just silky in it. He just keeps it simple. Does his thing, keeps the ball ticking, man. This is exactly what we need, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him, not just because, myself and himself are doubles and he's a very attractive man, but it's because I think there is so much to his play, but he needs to play with us, being a certain lineup more. Because I don't think he was exceptional tonight. I think he had a lot of nice moments and a lot of nice touches, and I feel like he shows why he can be the number 1 on the pitch for us, number 1 in the starting lineup in the future going forward, but he just needs to get in the pitch more. He needs to play more and needs to get used to being out there.
I was a bit disappointed that he's not joining the attack. I've got to be honest.
I thought it was very odd.
He's actually got an eye for goal. That's what he's known for. He's that kid in the box. We spoke to James as well, who he obviously covers Ajax regularly, and he was like, "You've signed someone that's basically reminiscent of a Ramsey in terms of his ability to get into the box, that late run into the box, third man run." That's what we need. We need more. And also on that as well, I was so happy. I know Bruno's second goal was pure luck, but I say pure luck. You have to be there to tap in. But in terms of very fortunate. But it was just nice to see Bruno running into the box and getting into the box consistently through every sort of attack. Before we bring in, I just want to say, Jamie, thank you very much for subscribing.
Hey, Jamie.
Good lads.
Obviously, make sure you drop a like on the video. Obviously, if you're enjoying it, Kodjo, just to get you in. I know what you're gonna say because I know you're a fan of him. But what were your thoughts on Van der Beek's performance? Do you think he stated a claim to Ollie? Listen, Ollie, play me, give me a run of games, and I'll show you what I'm about.
Yeah, I do. The one thing I love about him is I feel like he could play with any of our so-called defensive midfielders. I think with him, I think he could play with Matic, he could play with McTominay, he can play with Night Bobs. Love you.
Night Bobs.
Night Bobs.
Night Bobs.
Night Bobs.
And obviously he played with Fred today. And the one thing I like about him is you can trust him going forward. You can trust him to dictate the tempo of the play in the middle of the pitch, not going too far forward, not going too far back. He knows his positioning. He knows his intelligence is the best part of his game. and that is just added with ability. That he's silky smooth. He's really good with the ball. So yeah, I'm happy with him, and more importantly, I think it's now the time to actually give him much more of a run of games, because if Pogba's not fit and you're not starting McTominay, you're not sure about starting Matic, but Fred is keeping his spot, I think those two complement each other well. And Bruno has the work rate to actually run back and help defensively also. As does Cavani, he was doing that a lot today, especially at set pieces.
Bro.
So
yeah,
it works out. It works out.
I just love him, man. He's got beautiful hair as well, so it really does help.
Beautiful man, isn't it? He's such a beautiful man.
That's what I'm inspiring. That's what I got the hat on. The next time you see my hair, it's going to be Cavani, basically. Can you imagine? I just come on the show, I'm thinking. But this comment from me from Cam, I think this is perfect. I think I completely agree with
I agree with
that. We actually need a CDM who is mobile. Of course, Fred is mobile, but he's not a CDM by nature. Who can distribute the ball, break the lines. If we can get a quick centre-half up from Kano, then we may have removed some of our weaknesses. I honestly think we're a couple of players away from being a good team. Like, I generally do believe it. Whether it be under Ali or whether it be under another manager, we need a CDM, right? Just hypothetically speaking, again, I don't want to be harsh to Fred because he's brilliant, but someone like Fred, who is a CDM, I think Ndidi I know he's been injured for a long period, but I'm a huge fan of Ndidi. I really hope that he comes back good, and he's out for ages. But hopefully he comes back good and we can snap him up, because he would be a brilliant signing for us. Can you imagine Ndidi in that CDM? Then we can actually play 4-3-3, and if you got an Upamecano as well. I wonder if Upamecano available in January?
45 million, yeah.
See, I think we need to go all out for Upamecano, because I think him alongside Maguire, right? Again, nothing wrong against Lindelof, because Lindelof, to be fair to him, has done well in the last couple of games. But I'm looking for title challenging. Like, I'm looking for, and I'm not saying Upamecano is going to get us to the title, but he'll get us a lot closer without a shadow of a doubt. And I think he'll just help us relieve some more pressure off the flipping two pivot, man. Because I know, I can't remember who was saying it. I think it was G, actually. He was saying on our last podcast, saying Ollie can't play with that two pivot because the defenders aren't good enough. And I do hear that point, and I agree with it. But at the same time, what I said was, and I don't know what you think, Kojo, I said, let them get exposed. Because then we know these mans aren't good enough. Because at the end of the day, right, we shouldn't have to be covering up for Lindelof. Lindelof, how much money did you spend on him? 40 million. I don't know how much you spent on him. It must have been 40 probably.
I think it was.
We spent 80 on Maguire, so that's 120. I don't know how much you spent on Lindelof. I think it's around that fee. Obviously, 50 for what's his name, Wabsaka. 170, and Tellez was 18. So we touched, obviously Luke Shaw was like 25. So either way, we're touching 200 million in defense. De Gea obviously wasn't that much, but it's a lot of money. Like, we was going about Arsenal's attack, having spent 200 million on the attack and they can't score. We've got 200 million on defense. We can't keep a clean sheet. Like, at the end of the day, it's true, don't it? Arsenal dead team in it, so they play like you boys enjoy Thursday nights. But listen, it's a good point, isn't it? Joe, just before we obviously finish off with the man of the match, what do you recommend? Does it still concern you that we don't have a genuine CDM? Because, like I said already, they did create too many chances for my liking.
Yeah, no, we discussed this months and months ago about what we needed to improve, and I wanted to improve to that position, because for me, you have Matic, who would have been great 5 years ago. You have McTominay, who might be great in a couple of years' time. You got Fred, who doesn't play in that position, but everyone tells us that he does. So, like, that is the one gaping hole, because people say our defense isn't good enough. I'd say our defense is good, and we had the third best defense in the league. But if we want to improve, we don't have to just improve in the back line. We have to improve in the people just in front of it to protect them. And we don't have anyone to protect them right now.
What was this comment from Jamie, Joe? Maybe McTominay and Van de Beek would work. What do you reckon about that?
I'm a big fan of McTominay, but right now, no. I think McTominay in a couple of years' time, I see him as, not because he's Scottish, but like a bit of a Darren Fletcher sort of player, who is going to play above himself.
Darren Fletcher, Fletcher was
no, absolutely. Fletcher was quality. He was. And I feel like if he was Spanish or Brazilian, he would be a lot more respect on his name. But it took him a little while to get into the team, and especially if that extra pressure when you're brought through the ranks of people saying you're only there to be part of the numbers, to build up the numbers, to build up respect or whatever it wants to be. But I think in a couple of years, maybe McTominay, but until he's about 25, 26, and around that age, we need someone in there who's actually world class, and we don't have that. And it's such a gaping hole that everyone can see, but it seemingly, I think, will be the last position that we fill up, because I think there was no talk about. There was always talk about Upamecano coming in. I don't think any of it was realistic. I think it was always about improving the attack because the last summer window, we improved the defense. So I think it was. So it's going to be attack, then defense, and then maybe that holding position. So I think it'll be a while before we do it. But I think Ndidi, absolutely. I wanted Tonali, who went to AC Milan.
Yeah, Tonali.
Yeah. There's so many players out there that needs to come in. Unfortunately, Ndidi has that injury, but for me, that would be the priority because it's not all about just the back four. It's about who sits in front of them, and I think that should be priority.
Upamecano would be beautiful business.
Legit, would be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Kojo, what do you reckon on the DM situation? Then we'll just finish off with that. Man, it's going to be a bit boring because everyone's going to say the same person. But
yeah, no, I agree. We need a certified DM. Obviously, it's hard to find a top class DM in this era of football right now, but someone that just knows their role and will do it. When just follow the instructions and we'll sit back and let the more creative players go forward and know that we have protection at the back. Very simple. That's what I want. Something like what Højbjerg's doing for Tottenham right now.
I was just about to say,
does his role to an absolute perfect. He presses well when he needs to, reads the game, passes on very well.
So good for proper Joseph player, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. So
fucking prick.
I don't I don't know. I haven't got a name in mind, honestly. If I'm being honest, I haven't got a name in mind. The only person I could think of recently was Frank Kessie from AC Milan. But that's the only man I can think of. He's not top class, but he's a good player. He follows instructions well. So that's the only one I can think of. But I know that I don't know who the target could be. So if we find someone, please bring them in.
Yeah,
please.
Fair. Listen, let's just finish on man of the match. Like I said, we're probably all going to say the same player. Let us know who your man of the match is. Also, what a shot this is going to be. We'll start with you first, John. I wonder who you're going to pick.
Ooh, Bruno motherfucking Fernandes. Just exceptional. I love it when he is in full form, when he is just flicking, when he doesn't give a shit about his opponents. There was no one I'm happier to see wearing that red jersey. So he was at it tonight for as long as he was on the pitch, and it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted him to impress and then be taken off early, so he's good for Southampton. So Bruno, 100%.
100%. Kojo, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'll give it to Bruno, but a quick shout out to Lindelof for getting off the pitch at halftime. That was great.
Very kind of him.
To be honest, I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit disappointed with Paul Pogba for not saving that free kick. I'm not going to lie. A bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Disgusting. Pogba's got to be doing better in the world.
Honestly, you know what? I hope Souness chews him up and spits him out.
I'm sick and tired of it.
Do you know what annoyed me the most about Pogba's performance tonight? Is that when the goal went in, he didn't go over and take the watch off the referee. So
honestly,
it was on his arm. Like if he was a team player, he would have taken the watch off the referee's arm before it buzzed. Honestly, but he didn't do it, did he?
Fucking celebrate with any
bastard.
Exactly.
French bastard.
People are scoring goals. You're not celebrating with him. God.
God. Celebrating at home. Big saying Bruno slander will not be tolerated. Shut up.
Yes, it's your boy Big.
Since the day
it's your boy Big.
It's your boy Big.
He definitely watched the video and I love to see it. I hopefully did. But listen, it is what
my team captain Beaks, thank you very much.
I'm going to give my man of the match to Bruno as well. I'm trying to think who I could give it a second. Van der Beek's up there. I'd probably say Van der Beek's has definitely had a phenomenal game. Is there really anyone else that was even close to him? Cavani to an extent, obviously didn't get his goal. Cavani should have scored though, by the way. Bruno unselfishly passed it him and then he overdid it and then got that corner when he just hit it onto the defender. He needs to have scored that, really hit the first touchdown. But it's going to have to be Bruno Fernandes. Let us know in the comment section. Looks like everyone's going for Bruno. What an absolute shock. Tell us his crosses, by the way. I almost had tears in my eyes. We've actually got someone who can take a flipping corner. Unbelievable. We've only waited for fucking 90 years. What's it up for Cavani? No way.
Yes, go on, lad.
You know what? He was not Team Cavani before. He is now. Welcome to the team, my friend. Welcome to the team, my friend.
On that note, we're going to finish the show. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. podcast. I'll be joined by Flawless and hopefully with some of the other lads who are available. We'll see what happens. But anyway, stay tuned, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Massive shout out to the guys. Obviously, check them out on the socials. As you can see, Jesse Lingard, aka Acting Joe. Check him out on Twitter. He does a lot of good work on Oldford United. Also, we got Kojo, one of the 3 men in midfield. Check him out. His socials are there, and obviously they will be in the description.
So cool. So cool, Kojo.
Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Manchester United top of the table. It is what it is. We go again next week. Peace.